I found that I was very much attracted to kind of stuff similar to what I'm into and making right now.
That
Um,
must have felt kind of good. I mean, in a way, it's affirming, right? To see work that resonates or that feels like kind of what you're where you're going.
yeah, it did. And there wasn't a lot of it. Like there was some at all the places, but
Yeah.
there and I was just, interested in art, the greater or like a different theme. There was this person that did this cool thing on $20 bills and turned, I'll send like there's just cool stuff,
Yeah,
but
cool stuff.
the,
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
stuff that's kind of I was very much attracted to more sculptural work
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and anything that kind of had black or smudginess or dark. And I didn't see anything that looked like I'm what I'm doing.
Mm.
I I didn't see, and it's funny, the closest, no, well, in some of my searches prior to going,
Yeah.
Theaster Gates did a series where, so his father was a roofer in Chicago,
Ah.
and he did a series using roofing paper and roofing tar and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if you saw it next to my work, you'd sort of see a relationship, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I thought I didn't know if it was his obscure work or this was I haven't gotten that deep yet. And right when we walked in, there was this beautiful Theaster Gates piece. And so it was mostly silver with some black little, but it was very attractive to me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and funnily enough, my niece, who's an artist, got to work with him for a year.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. What an
Yeah, he's such
opportunity.
a Shazia, do you know his work, The Gates?
No.
No, let's bring it up because he's a
Okay.
really interesting artist, and I think especially what's great about him is that he's really done a lot to help his community. You know, he's
Yeah.
very, very, you know, sort of all about like really bringing the um yeah, you know, he's a wonderful guy. There's Shelley. So let's see if images. Oh, this is the Gates. Oh, it was just in the Times today.
Like, see that work?
Yes.
He was just in what today?
I think in the Times today. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
really?
Yeah. Oh well, we lost that one. Hi Shelley. We're just looking at the Gates really quickly
Really?
because Pam. We're starting with Pam talking about um, you know, her experience looking at Art Miami, and I was just asking her what she was drawn to, or you know, what she liked and interested in looking, and you know, how we kind of glom to the artwork that is similar to what we do, or has an aesthetic that we we like or we're interested in. So yeah, it makes total sense. Anyway, so yeah, you saw a lot of people, and you didn't see much that looked exactly, which is kind of a good thing, which means
It
that
was great. Like there
there's
was nothing that looked like mine. And there was this one huge piece, kind of Rothkovian, in that it was all dark. And then there was a bottom panel that was something. And I'm like, that would look 4,000 times better if that dark wasn't just a matte black and it had, you know, that
ah
effect of the char and I don't know. I'm
yeah.
not trying to like toot my own horn like that was confirming. No, it was like terrifying, but there it gave me a chance to look at different ways people are coming up with textures
Yeah.
regardless of color. And it was the things I was attracted to were all three-dimensional, like sculptural.
Hmm.
Could be a wall hanging, but like there was a person who used glass and had made holes in it. I'll send some pictures. But anyhow, there was this other gallery from Paris who only
Hmm.
features African artists.
Hmm.
And there was a piece that was made with all these chunks of coal. I have a postcard right here. I don't know if it'll show up. It's probably
Oh
not going to
wow.
show up very well.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
They're
Yeah.
they're wrapped in wire
Hmm.
from a coal mine, but sort of had a really neat story. I talked to this, and this man was trained by the guy who does the liquor cap, the
Oh,
liquor,
yes. El Anatsui.
I forget his name. Yes.
El
So they
Anatsui. Yeah.
come from the
What's his
same,
name? What's his name? The
El Anasui. Uh, Here, let's just
those
see.
big sheets of like, yeah, I love his work too.
Ah, that's all right. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
know
great.
who he is. I just didn't know his name. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The work with
So
the liquor.
I forced my card on a few people. I decided to
Oh,
not be shy. And I said, this lady, I'm like, I'm not African, as you've noticed. But but my work has a lot of similarities in certain ways. Would you mind? So
okay.
I,
Great. I think
That's
it's
great. No,
cool.
I'm kidding you. I'm kidding you.
and
Yeah.
I gave them a card, and
Yeah.
I want to reach back out and now I get to follow what they're showing in their gallery. I put myself on their mailing list. Um, there was
Good
another
work. Yeah. Wow.
there was another person who represents a nonprofit called the Ant Project, and they're
Mhm.
based in Mexico City.
Mm.
And she's big on pulling together different kinds of artists have, come together with a certain theme or that
Yeah.
she assembles. And it was a very fire-based, charcoaly, very, very different kinds of art, kind of, and the woman was awesome. And I
Mm.
forced my card on her, and she's probably the most important one for me to reach out to, where you know, we had a connection, and I think, and I just haven't figured out exactly what to say yet. And I also have all these great photographs that I feel like before I reach out to people, I should have my website a little bit better, or maybe strike while the iron's hot. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, well, that's great that you did that. And I'm impressed that you did that. Yay. Maybe you got a little bit of help from this course. I don't know, but did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. And I mean, these art fairs are uh interesting to go to because you really do get the breadth of what's being done all over the place, but it's also, a small section, and you get taken to the art fair by a gallery. So unless you're usually, at least the ones in Miami, you have to be part of a gallery, and then they take you and they put out a huge amount of money. It's very expensive for the galleries to go. So they're, really hoping to sell. And so I think their choices are based on what seems to sell well, to their clientele. And also, a lot of people from beyond the US. I don't know if did you notice that? Did you hear a lot of other languages being spoken?
Yeah, there were almost equal,
Yeah.
amount of foreign speaking, compared to Americans. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a great, and the outfits and everything that went with it was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that, the people say that there are a lot of buyers that come from beyond the United States, but the art market is not doing all that well this year, apparently, and sales are down all over the place. So, I mean, this is stuff that I feel in my life I'm kind of distant from because I've never really been with a commercial gallery. And, so hence I've been kind of looking in from the outside on that. So I do think you have to kind of see, what it is that they're doing and just understand that that's what you're looking at. There are fairs. I actually participated in a fair for a non-affiliated artist. It's called um, the Affordable Art Fair. Is that right? No, it was the other one. Can't even think. The other art fair.
Hmm.
The other art fair. Again, the focus is on commercial. So I didn't do very well there because my work is not a very commercial. And so, it was really the wrong place for me. But I was very curious to see what it felt like to be an artist in that context. So, you don't have a gallery in front of you kind of doing the work. You are right out there. It's very humbling. Very
Mm.
humbling. And I realize I'll never do that again. But I did try it because at least I have the story to tell. But I was very curious to hear about some of the other artists who were there. And we were all it was fun because as all of the artists, there must have been, I don't know, 200 or so in a very big space. This was in Brooklyn, so I figured I'm going to do one in New York. Uh, they give you, you pay, you get in, and then you pay for a booth, which, in my case was probably about $1,000. I forget. And you have it for 3 days. And you go in there with all your stuff and you set up the best you can. And then, the doors open and people walk through. And oh my God, it's, I mean, I was okay with it because I was like, this is a lark. I'm just learning about this. I think I'll just, kind of like see what happens. And I had some really interesting conversations with people. Um, that particular art fair, you're not going to get curators, which was what I was hoping to see there. And this was probably I think I did this in 2017. Yeah. So before, everything really. Before COVID, before a lot of stuff, first year that Trump was in. Anyway. And so it was really interesting to talk to some of the other artists. There was a woman from Australia who had brought her work
Oh my
rolled
God.
up. What she did was when she got to the venue, and she said she's done the other art fair many times in many different places, she buys stretchers where she is and stretches her canvases there. I mean, what people do to go through to do this, it is amazing. Like I drove my work up and my husband helped me. I felt like I'm nothing compared to, what you have done to go, to show your work and get your work out. It just was really interesting. And, there was all kinds of art from very, very commercial to, more like my work. There were far fewer of people like me in that show. And now I understand why. It's very hard to know, really from when you're applying for this. And then there was a lot of camaraderie, as I was saying, all of us, we get together after the day was over and sort of compare notes, and everybody was really helpful. And, it was fun in that way. It was exhausting, and it was just crazy and interesting. I did sell one piece. It's
Oh.
good. But still, anyway, so I will never do that again. I do think that the way, it would be great to be represented by a gallery who takes your work there. But then, as we've been talking about all along, there are a lot of other ways to get your work out into the world, and that's just one. So, right. But, it's important to do these things, I think, to see, because you learn. So you said you were looking at how things were framed or how things were hung or set up, and all of that stuff is really good to know because it can inform what you do and give you ideas that you never thought of, and ways to think about your work that you didn't. I think that's so important.
Yes. And that I definitely felt like, just I walk up and just sort of see how they've done things and how they attached it to the wall even,
Yeah.
or they didn't attach it to the wall. They're suspended here. I'm like, I want to hang things from the ceiling all over the place.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like there's just this different, yeah, why not? There's certain things you wouldn't have thought of on your own. So
Right.
I get a kick out of that. Going to the satellite places, the Scope and Untitled, you had some chance of running into the artists, which was great. That's what I love, talking like that to other
Yeah.
artists. Also, they were just like more down to earth galleries where you could have a
Mhm.
conversation and stuff. So
Yeah.
all of the cards I gave out and all of the good conversations I had were at those places.
Hmm.
But if I ever went back, you know, I don't even know if I would go to Basel. I wouldn't, you know, it's kind of a wow factor, but
Yeah.
it's overwhelming and I don't know.
Yeah. 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 No, that makes sense. Well, great. Anybody have questions to ask him about her big trip?
How far in advance did you plan this?
About 3 months.
Oh,
When we decided, I should say, when Kim decided, um, the tickets weren't available yet. And we weren't sure if all these things sell out. You
Yeah.
know, now we know they don't.
I know.
And so we didn't have to put a lot of stress and figure things out in advance
Yeah.
like we thought we needed to. The biggest thing is getting housing because it is
Yeah.
slammed. The place is just busy. But
Did you find a
yeah,
cheaper place to stay? Did you do an
no,
Airbnb?
we
No.
did an Airbnb,
Yeah.
but it was gorgeous. It was only a block from the water, and
Ah,
so
nice.
it was worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great. I mean, you share expenses and it's fun when you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aqua wasn't as great actually. It was a lot of um like printed off pictures of famous
Oh,
Al Pacino and shit like that.
oh,
There was some interesting art, but not much.
that's so
It was
interesting.
weird.
That was my favorite place last time, but now we're talking about 12 years ago.
I
So
know, but
these
a
places
lot of
can,
other people that I bumped into also
yeah.
said Aqua's great, Aqua's great.
Oh, and they weren't
But I
so
think
great.
this year was maybe just a little less great, or it wasn't what I was
Yeah.
attracted to. Although there was this one room, you know how you say, make sure you see art that you hate too.
Mm.
There was this one room where I wanted to run, but it was very grotesque. It was
Uh,
just morphine of animals and humans and guts, and it
mm.
was so well painted that it was really awful. And I tried to stay in there for at least 10 seconds, but but
Oh, that's
you know,
great. Yeah. Well,
it's good to be around a lot of different stuff, but I didn't see anything interesting with wood. It was all very
uh-huh.
like home goodsy kind of things.
Yeah.
Interesting paper stuff, like homemade paper stuff. That was
Mm.
attractive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great. Super, super interesting. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Well, good. So you were talking about, contacting somebody and, that's great. I mean, that is your next step if you felt like there was somebody who, you know, was interesting and it can't hurt. And, that's really how you start is just kind of, looking at if it's a gallery that you want to be in that looks like it might, be interested in carrying the kind of work that you make. Yeah, you make contact with the director or somebody who works there and befriend them. And, I think so. This was the thing that I had to really learn when I started really, trying to figure this whole thing out about 12 to 15 years ago. And I was like, I'm going to learn what's the secret? The big, there's no secret. It's just treat people like they're friends, get to know them and understand that they're human and they're not on a pedestal, that they're just like, we're like each other. And so, how would you approach a friend? You wouldn't, and, also, that's, you don't want to sort of throw yourself at somebody if they don't have any context about who you were. At least here, you met somebody, you got cards, you actually talked to them. And I guess I would say, the sooner you get back to them, probably the better, just because they still remember you. So I don't think that's a bad thing at all. But
Okay.
yeah, I found a letter that I had written recently, and it's you know I'm only sharing what I've learned over the years with you guys, and you'll find I'm not doing anything terribly original here, but I can show you. And actually, Shelley and I were talking about this the other day. Let me share this letter just so you can, and I'm happy to share this around, but so you can kind of see what I have done, the kind of letter that I would have that I've written that I think covers the bases in that it's like a little bit of a template. So, dear so and so, first, congratulations on celebrating your first year with blah. As a Boston artist of many years, I've always looked forward to special exhibits, and I've been impressed with its recent embrace of new voices and viewpoints, though women artists are still underrepresented. I feel in reading your bio, I feel, period. In reading your bio, I see that you curated 2 exhibits that I attended, the blah, blah, and the blah, blah. We are very lucky to have you. Obviously, this is a local curator. I was trying to get interested in coming to see my work. So it's no surprise. But the first paragraph should be something like, "Hi, we met each other at Art Miami. It was so, great to meet you. I really enjoyed talking with you, and especially, liked X artist that was showing in your space." So whatever you can find that creates some sort of a human bond with this person, use it. Because otherwise they're going to go, this person, that all they want is to show me their work, and they probably have nothing. You want to say, I was interested in your gallery because you carry the kind of work that I think I'm doing, or, my work really relates to the show that you had of so and so's work, or whatever it is. And a lot of this stuff just means going to that website and seeing what they showed last year. Like, I don't think you necessarily need to do a huge amount of research, but it's great if you actually met them, So in this case, this person that I am talking to, I actually did see 2 of the exhibits that he curated. And I was so pleased to be they kind of have something that would show him that, I did some research about him. Okay. So, let me just write research and connection. And I'll send this out to everybody after we're done here. Not that it's the greatest thing in the entire universe, but, and then, I introduce myself. I'm an artist who makes sculptures and installations evoking the complex beauty, emotional, blah, 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 whatever, something from your artist statement. Here I'm trying to just give him a little bit of an idea of, yeah, you should look at me because I've had these experiences. If you're starting out and you haven't had a lot, you would probably want to just talk a little bit about your work, maybe if you have shown in some place that might be, even if it's one place, you could say that, or, you could say a little bit more about, you don't even have to say a lot, maybe you just stop right here, or you could say, and this is something that that one of the mentors that I've had suggested, that is to say, I'm really excited about the work I'm doing, and I, would love for you to take a look. So let's say this is who you are. What you make and why they should look at you. So you could just say, I am so excited about my new work, and I really would love for you to see it. So, if it's a gallery that you've never seen, this part here, I just want to put in red because that's probably not where if you're just meeting a new gallery, you're probably not going to invite them to your studio, until and if this, especially if it's a cold call, cold email, you're not going to do that quite yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, you would write something like, let's add here. So excited about what I'm working on now. It represents a new body of work, a new direction, whatever that, you want to say about it. And then, here's a sample of something that I've been working on. And here you don't want to ask anything of them. You just want to say, hey, if you want to look, here it is. And then I put a picture
Okay,
right in the body of the email.
okay.
And then you just say, that's it. And then you'll see, what happens. They might say, oh, thank you. And they probably will say nothing. But then, a couple months later, you'll send them another letter, kind of like this, with, and also, you'll sign your signature with your website. So the website's there too. Like, if they like your website, if they like your image, they may reach out and say, thanks for sending it. It was great to meet you. And then, you're not going to take that as a no. You're going to take that as, wow, I did the first thing. I made a connection. So when you write them again in a month or so, same thing, something personal. To show I've been following your gallery and I really like so and so's work. Just thought you might like to see what I'm up to. Send another image so that you're kind of building up this relationship. I mean, it's really hard to do with email. It's much easier if you're trying to do it with somebody who's in the same city. And there's actually a chance for you to go, see the gallery and talk to them at an off time. That's much, much easier. But, the idea always is to nurture this relationship or find somebody who knows the gallery, who can introduce you to somebody there. So a lot of, I think, and I think, Shelley, you back this up, right? So much of the connections that we make are through other people. It's,
No question.
it's really about knowing people and getting to know them somehow. I can't stress that enough. I mean, that's just been my, I have sent so many letters and emails over the years, cold, and it just doesn't work usually. I mean, it just doesn't. And the times that something interesting has happened, they've all been through somebody that I knew. So there you go. Meanwhile, I'll rewrite this and make it a little bit cleaner so you guys can see these headings. But that's kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
yeah, Pam, like, hi, lady that I met there, it was so great to meet you. And we talked about XYZ, so maybe she remembers. Send her an image, send her your website. Don't ask her for anything. The last thing they want is like somebody, another artist yet again. They do get a lot of people sending stuff and a lot of people who don't even really look at that particular gallery and know even what the gallery does. Because artists are we're all clueless. We're all terrified. So, ask around, who knows who, if you know anybody who's, were these galleries in Miami that you
No,
liked?
all
No,
of the galleries that I liked, whose work I liked or had something it was almost all South America or Central
oh my
America.
God.
And Paris, yeah.
Oh,
There were
okay.
no, yeah, I know.
So
I'm like,
try and connect up with some of the artists on Instagram and tell them you like their
That's
work. Because sometimes artists will respond.
A lot
Yeah,
of times they
good
will.
idea.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. And that's why you use Instagram right there. Yes, and especially if they're a part of that gallery, and they like your work and you start to have a little back and forth with them, and maybe you even do a little FaceTime with them. I mean,
Mhm.
anything's possible these days. That's kind of the way it may happen.
I see. Good
Yeah.
advice. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then there are the local people, Pam in Boston. Is there any gallery around here that, yeah, there are some
So I
galleries
had
there.
stumbled into Clark Gallery in Lincoln,
Yeah,
friend of mine, and we just got chatting with the owner
yeah.
forever. And this was like 2 years ago,
Okay.
back when I was like just I was too shy to, I said, well, I do some stuff. He's like, send me some. And then I saw him again like a year or so later, and he's like, yeah, he's the one who told me about Art Basel in Miami. And I sent him an invite to my open studio. I did not hear back, but that
Oh,
doesn't mean anything.
no, no.
But I need to go in and sort of reintroduce myself and
Yes, you
maybe have
do. Yes, yeah.
so like there's no such thing as a portfolio anymore, but I guess we just go to his computer and bring up my website and talk about my work that way, I guess.
If he's interested, yeah, yeah, definitely. So probably go in there and reintroduce yourself, and he might just say, hey, I'm not busy right now. Let's go look,
Hmm.
which would be great. And then you'd get, something, but ready to go. And that's why you do want your website to have the best pictures that you have on them.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
But I think there are other places in Boston that you could also be thinking about. And this is what I was wanting to do maybe today, is to get a little bit in depth with each of everybody. It's a good day to do it because there are just three of us here. Um, but yeah, and I think along with the cooperatives, uh, yeah, do some thinking about, and it's really sort of like, do you think that they carry work kind of like what you make, i.e., abstraction, i.e., materials based, a little edgy, you know. Um,
And is there someone who comes to mind when you say all those things?
yeah, actually, now that I'm saying it, Gallery Naga, they're on Newbury Street. They're not even in SOA, but they've been around a long time, and I really like what they carry. But I don't see them much because I never go to Newbury Street now. Never do. Shazia, you remember Newbury Street.
Yes.
you
Yes.
know,
Hmm.
and there are a couple of galleries. Most of them I
Hmm.
don't pay any attention to, but Naga is one that's a good gallery that shows really interesting things, I think. And who knows? So go see them. Go visit
Hmm.
Gallery Naga. Go talk to them. You know. So
Probably been in there,
start
but yeah.
there. And yeah, we'll keep talking and thinking. But you're at the beginning. And
Hmm.
so this is kind of like you're, kind of all right, we're starting here, you know,
Hmm.
work in the studio, take pictures, put it up on your website, reach out to people, and repeat again and again and again. This is like, and yeah, and keep befriending more and more artists, open your network, like people on Instagram. Yeah. And then something might happen, and then things might snowball from there. So, what you're doing is, it's like a multi-pronged approach. You're looking, perhaps to an open call. It's you can still, approach, sending your work out to, one that looks decent, and they're not all going to be decent, but I'm thinking Cambridge Art and Concord Art, both of those, have decent opportunities, and those are always good. And a lot of people will see your work that way. And there are a lot of other artists who attend those receptions. And so that's certainly a way to befriend people in the Boston area who could potentially be friends and helpmates and all this stuff. you know. So, but you don't have to do it all at once, and you don't have to do it all the time unless you start to feel like you some of us do
Yeah.
insanity. But yeah. All right.
Mhm.
So let's talk to somebody else. Let's see. Who wants to just sort of chat about where you are with everything? Shelley?
I'm too tired today.
Okay.
I'm
All
very
right.
sorry.
Oh, okay. Shazia?
Yeah, sure. So I have not heard back from the uh, gallery that I approached,
Hmm.
and I've did a follow-up email because I think it's also the end of December,
Yeah, it's not a good.
and so I thought, or maybe I can just show up at the gallery one day and just, just to make sure that he is going to give me at least some time in January just to go over the stuff.
Yeah.
And the gallery that I was talking about, the friend of mine told me, I mean, he owns it or whatever, the New England Contemporary. She called me this morning and told me the about all the works that she would like to show at the gallery, but at intervals, not like all of them at the same time.
Yeah.
So she said that maybe I can start with a couple of them and then the rest she can put on her website and see how if somebody gets interested in it. I just have to have a consistent pricing. And she
Yep.
was asking about the prices, and I was telling her I spoke with my mentor, and I'm gonna get back to you. And so that's I mean, she wants me to price the work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so couple of pieces she said that she can put in the gallery right now. Right now means, mid-January or something like
Right.
that. The question was like, do want to get those pieces framed again. I mean, they were done before professionally, but I didn't like the frame. It's just I need some help pricing them. It was
Yeah.
I wish I would start local. It's just because when you send your work somewhere,
No.
it costs so much. And
Yeah.
then if they're doing 50-50, I think let's say if it sells,
Yep.
I don't, but I thought maybe I should at least start somewhere. I mean,
Yeah,
at least
it's
I'm
not
getting an
bad.
opportunity.
Yeah, so you're
So,
talking about the gallery at SOA, that new TAG gallery. Is that what you're
oh, no,
saying?
no, 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 no.
Oh,
That
okay.
is in
I'm
Rhode
sorry.
Island. It's
Okay.
called New
Oh,
England
okay. All
Contemporary.
right.
The
Sorry. Yeah.
one who are have a very realistic art and they want to start introducing the
Yeah.
abstract art. Yeah,
I mean,
they a
what I
tricky
would do is I
situation
wouldn't
I was
spend.
at. I didn't
Hmm.
agree to, I mean, I said I will get back.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess I would say not to spend a lot of money on your framing. You know,
Oh,
do
mm-hmm.
not. Yeah,
Okay.
because you're going to run into terror. It's just not going to be worth it, and they're not going to be able to sell it for you to really make your money back.
Yes.
Um, I would, people really like the IKEA frames and they're pretty inexpensive and they
Okay.
look fine,
All right.
and usually, here's another thing that people have said is that when someone buys a work, sometimes they will reframe it the way they want
Yes.
to reframe it. So it
Mm-hmm.
isn't worth you spending all that money on your frame. So get something
Yes.
simple.
Okay.
Um, I did find a really inexpensive way of shipping work when I had to do this show in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
It's called pirateship.com. And they do
Oh, okay.
UPS and they also do US Postal Office. I know.
Okay.
Let me just show you this website. I am so delighted to have discovered it.
Okay.
Um, because it's finally reasonable. So let me just bring this up for you here. So look at this.
Mm.
And yeah, and so it still goes through the post office or UPS. But I'm telling you, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
I only spent $150 shipping my work to Wisconsin, and I had those huge
Did you
pieces.
pack it yourself?
I did pack it
Did you?
myself,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And there were two really big rolls, like 5 feet by like 24 inches across.
Oh,
Okay.
Two of
wow.
those, and then a big box. And so, I mean, that was amazing. right?
Mm,
So
That's
know
amazing.
about these guys. Yeah. And then
okay.
that will make it a little easier for you.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
how quickly did it get there? Was there a time?
just like UPS, exactly like UPS. And you can, you can track it like it's exactly like UPS. I think what they do is they act as some kind of a middle person. I'm just not sure how it works, but it's terrific. Like they sent all of the stuff back to me and it got to me. So anyway, that's a good thing to know if you're trying to. Yeah, and you can try it if you think that
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of low hanging fruit, easy to do because you've got these
Yeah.
people who know you. And then should we look at your website and then we can talk about pricing?
Sure. I mean, we can, if you can help me, it's the couple of pieces, they kind of like a diptych. They are
Okay.
in the under the geometric, I believe. Um,
Okay, let's get you here. Oh, for gosh sakes. That's interesting. See, your website should come right up. No, no,
oh,
no,
it doesn't, or it
it
does.
should come right up. I mean,
Mhm.
oh, there you go. Okay. All right. Perfect. It did come. So it's under geometric?
Yeah, it's under geometric. It's there, I think, on the bottom, called Into the Jungle 1 and Into the Jungle 2 is the printmaking one, the colorful one. If you can keep on going.
Ah, right here.
Uh,
These?
no,
No. Okay.
I'll tell you when. These two. So
Okay.
first, no,
So,
not these. The one underneath, or what they were on top of these. The
On
ones
top.
which were like very much alike, but the
Yeah,
colors were just a bit different.
there you
these.
go.
Yeah.
These two.
Yeah. Yeah.
These two, yeah. So you think should I put a mat around or
To a mat. Yeah, probably
yeah,
because yeah, I mean the thing to do is to buy a frame that is, a standard size from IKEA. And it's
okay.
probably not going to be 15 by 19, but you want to give yourself a little space around it,
Mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't mat it. I would just mount it, I think. I would mount, so the monotype like is floating on the mat.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I
Mm-hmm.
would do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, buy a frame, but talk about how much to charge. These are 15 by 19. And so that's what going to, galleries and art fairs also will do, is give you a range of prices. Pam, did you find prices were interesting and kind of all over the place?
Yeah, all over the
Right.
place.
So yeah, and you want to do is look at, right. You
Yeah,
kind of figure out, who is about, what work is showing at a gallery where you feel like you might be, and then take a look at what those people are pricing their work at. But, I would base this on what I've seen around Boston, that about the same size. It's work on paper, so it, is typically a little less expensive than something on a canvas, which is crazy, but it is. You can charge a little bit more because you framed it. I'm gonna say probably like it's 16 by 20. I feel like, and you guys tell me what you think. I'd say around 1,000 because you're going to split it with a gallery, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
50-50.
right. I'd say probably you could try like 1,200,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to get 600 if they sell it. So,
Yeah, that's what she was saying. They have to keep that in mind
right,
because it's
right,
gonna be
right.
50-50. So what would you get? So
Yeah. What do you guys
mm-hmm.
think? Pam and Shelley, does that sound about right to you? Just in context of this is work on paper. It's like,
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I mean, you never want to go down.
right, if you can help it.
And the gallery may have some sort of discount for regular customers. I think that, I don't know, 1,200. I think you might have to be prepared for her or him to sell it for 1,000. And then I think you can't think about it as a moneymaker right now. 'Cause
Right.
You
Mhm.
want to
Mhm.
build an audience,
Yes.
or either a gallery or audience or collector audience or both. So
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. I think 1,200
I
is,
think that sounds good. Yeah, I think 1,200
Okay.
is it's very reasonable. It's,
Mhm.
it isn't cheap. It isn't
Mhm.
overly expensive. It feels
Mhm.
about right, Shazia. Yeah.
All right. All right. So then the other piece is, let's say, moving forward, I mean, then the consistency is just like keeping it under 1,000, because that's what she was saying, you have to be consistent in your prices. I mean, that will come later on. I mean, we have to start somewhere, but
You have to start
with
somewhere.
consistency, she meant, just then everything will be around,
Yeah,
you
for
know.
example, if this is 16 by 16 and this is 16 by 20,
Mm-hmm.
this is gonna be maybe that's 1,000, so it's a
Okay.
slightly different, but in the same ballpark. Like this is
Yes.
gonna be 450 and this is gonna
Mm-hmm.
be 1,200. So I think you're fine.
Okay.
Consistent mean, yeah, just like in the same kind of level,
All right. All right.
depending on the sizes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
also,
mean, some people.
how cheap is FrameBridge? How cheap are any of these online framing?
Oh,
I've
yeah,
never used them, but
we should look at that. Yeah, I'm just
What was that
curious.
called?
I was going to see IKEA frames because they really are nice. Oh, look, 16 by 20, just for the heck of it. I mean, they're so, they're just fine. They're really,
yeah,
um,
they look fun. Wow.
so like 8.99, really pretty good. I don't think I would get
Mm-hmm.
aluminum. I would get wood for your work, but
Mm-hmm.
no, that's not so bad. So yeah, framing, mass produced framing has gotten really inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
You have a custom frame, that's where you go into the big bucks. Eesh,
Yes.
I know it's terrible. Um, okay, great. So yeah, anything else, Shazia?
I think that's all for now. I'm just have started looking some galleries around um in Atlanta.
Good.
Some my neighbor Carrie, she also told me about a
Great.
couple more. Yes,
Yes.
couple
Good.
more galleries. I mean, I told her, I'm in this journey now,
Oh
so
yeah.
if you can help me out, since she has been living here longer than me,
Yeah. Oh good.
so
Okay.
yeah. So I think it's just go, and I think I would like to visit the gallery first and then
I think it makes sense.
yeah,
I do,
decide.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think
I just
next year it's about just writing this letter to the
yeah, making
gallery.
friends with people and seeing a gallery,
Yes.
just kind of doing it, just
Mm-hmm.
doing it. But that's great. You're well,
Yeah.
everybody just getting started here and seeing what happens, where it goes.
Yeah.
And that first step is sometimes the hardest, and then you just know what you do. Pam,
Yeah.
pricing for yours is going to be a little more tricky because you're working in different materials
And
and
different
sculpture.
thickness and
Right, right. So that's going to be a little tricky too. But that's actually a great question for, um, I used to know his name. What the heck is his name? At Clark. You could just,
Dana.
Dana, yeah, your conversation could just be, what do you think about prices for,
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
Like, he may just be a really interesting person to hear, especially since you already have a relationship with him and sounds like kind of a friendly relationship. Could be a great place to start. Could almost
Yes.
be like flattering for him,
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, I just started working in my work and I'd love for you to give me some idea about prices. I wonder if you'd be willing to do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a good entry point.
It's a good entry point, and that you're not asking for him to show you. You're just kind of asking him for advice because he's so professional.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No,
But
you are correct in your, yep.
I know him a little bit, and he, yeah,
You
just,
know what? I know exactly what you mean.
yeah, okay. He's one of the Boston personalities, we, yeah,
Mhm,
been around a long time.
I see.
Yeah,
Yeah, for some reason he and his assistant
yeah,
friend I was with, we're just like when we're together, we're just chatty Cathy's, and we were there for an hour.
my
And
God.
then the next time and they were showing us the back room and all the work it was pretty cool.
Fabulous. So you
Yeah.
have a great reason to go, Pam. That is like perfect.
Okay.
Just go in there. Yeah, maybe after the holidays. I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Thank you.
Yay. All right.
I'm gonna go. I
All
have
right.
tooth problems,
Oh
so
no, I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
sorry.
yeah,
Oh,
but I wanted to just be here.
thanks for coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have
Feel
one more of
better.
these things.
Okay, I'll see you next time.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, so yeah, it feels like we're making some progress. And you kind of, and I'm wondering, looking back from where we started, I'm just wondering, and from both of your ends, is this starting to make some sense in terms of how, the procedure and how the pieces fit together between
Hmm.
the two? So it's
Yeah,
like
it
this,
is.
yeah,
My experience is these are all the kinds of things I was wondering. And I feel like I can't keep up in a way, like artist statement, I could get, okay, it's gotta deliver. And then it was like website, like the information is coming faster than I can
right, of
execute.
course,
But
of
of
course.
course, like there's no solution to that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm like, take good notes so I remember when it comes to when I'm figuring out price,
But then you do have
the
the
recordings. That's right.
YouTube's recordings.
Yeah.
So you can always go back
Yeah.
down. It is a lot to take in. But look, Pam, at this point, you got a website, you've got your artist statement, you've got now good photographs. Shazia, you too. You guys are really in great shape. And what happens is over an artist's career, you just do it again and again and again at a different level next time and with more things to say on your CV or more things to talk about in your letter. You just build on it. And I would never feel, oh gosh, I don't have enough to say. Like, don't worry about that. You just do what you can. And I think it's really, connecting to people. Big underscore there. You
Yeah.
just gotta meet people. That's just
Hmm.
what we have to do. And I've gotten much better at it. I've hated it, but since I've really been working on it and I start to feel more confident about myself, and you guys will start to feel more and more confident about your work, and you should feel really confident about both of you are really doing beautiful work, and that's nothing to sneeze at. But when you start to feel more confident, then you start to meet more people. When you start to meet more people, they start to introduce you to more people. It builds on itself, and that's why in a way it's easier to do in the city where you are, because that's where your connections are. It doesn't mean that you can't reach out further. And that's what the platform that I'm part of, this network, which you might eventually want to join too, that I think I told you about, it brings together, it's like Instagram, but for, artists, and you pay a fee to belong every year, like $800. But, it's a group of people from all over the country, in fact, even from the world, who are there to help each other. And they know that, you can ask somebody a question because they'll want to ask you questions back and forth. So it's like meeting other artists that can help you, knowing people who can help you maybe in your job or your husband's job or relatives, finding all these people, reaching out, connecting, and it just starts to build on itself. So that's what we all have to do. And that's what I'm still doing. It's never gotten any easier. but it just is what you do.
Which website is that, Adrian? The one you're talking
So yeah,
about?
I'll show you. It's called Netverk, Netverk. So it's hold on, it's let's see. Here we go. So this is what the platform looks like. And
Okay.
so what happens is once you become a member, you get access to the feed. And so here's somebody who's wanted to put my info out there for those who want to reach out to me. I'm taking a break for a while would love to hear from the community on Instagram. Somebody else, who's just joining, saying who they are. Oh, I put this out. I'm applying for the Gottlieb grant this year. Does anyone want to do a couple of meetups on the application with me? So this is how I'm trying to make contact with other people outside of
Mhm.
Boston. Let's write it. Let's work on our grants together. And that actually is a great thing to do. It's much better than trying to do it on your own because, we all are floundering around knowing this is somebody who is saying, what do I do with large sculptures after an exhibition is over? There's all kinds of people on here. And they're very serious artists. So it's a great resource when you're ready, to join it.
Mhm.
So there are these things out there, for artists that there never used to be because of the web. So that's something that I'm engaged in doing. But you can never stop reaching out because that's really what you need to do in whatever way that seems right for you at the moment. So, and the same thing goes for it's like, trying to have a show in a local space that is not a commercial space. That's another way. But we talked about, there are all these different things, and depending on your energy and your time and your frame of mind, you can do a little bit every year. Just kind of set a goal, like at the beginning of this year. All right, what would I love to have said by next year at this time that I've done? And maybe it's got made a connection with one gallery, you know met 3 new artists, and managed to put something up on Instagram 5 times. I mean, whatever they can be very modest goals, but if you set a goal, you're much more likely to reach that goal rather than just kind of it just seems overwhelming. So, breaking it down into some little pieces that you think you're really able to do, very modest, is a great way to get started
Mhm.
for the year, you know.
Makes sense.
All right. Well, that's
I,
it for
I just
today.
have one question that since I have always put the work that I have on my website on Instagram, I since I was away from my studio for so long, so I've started doing just warming myself up with like a page a day, just do anything, whatever is lying around. But that is not you know, is that okay to post that
Great.
kind of stuff?
Yeah, like we were saying,
Because
it's very casual. I think a lot of people get frightened of Instagram because they feel like every time they post, it should be something complete.
yeah,
No,
it's just something which I just did that day.
exactly.
It does
Have
not,
fun
yeah,
with it.
it's not like okay, so it's okay to do that because I thought, okay, it's just stuff that was lying around and I'm just, just doing anything, whatever.
Anything
So
that you think would be fun for people to look at because it helps people understand who you are as an artist. Like I think those
yeah,
shots of that you had a couple of pictures of how how it looks like with all your paper out on the table.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
People love to see that. And Pam has a great photo thing if she ever posting you in process because that's very uh interesting to people seeing your process with the torch. So
Mm.
anybody process pictures are great, finish, but don't forget to comment on other people. That's probably more important. I know.
Yeah, it
Mm.
takes a lot of time. It's not that I don't want to comment. It's just like, oh,
I know. Even if you just do it for 1 hour a week, just
mhm,
go through your feed. If you
mhm.
have a friend, you can post on me. You can post. You can post on any, just anybody, but it's a lot more meaningful if you just say something instead of just heart. That
Yeah.
doesn't, it's pretty meaningless, but
Yeah.
be sincere. If you like somebody's work, tell them that you like it. And it just you can just do one person, but Instagram is also you give what you get, and that's the whole thing about this career choice. Oh my God, it's a mutual thing, You like me, I like you. Let's see if we can help each other, So if I would say anything, it's more important to comment on other people's art and find a couple of those artists who are in the galleries that you like and make sure that you go to them and like a lot of things and comment. Because after a while, they're going to be curious. I always look to see who's actually written something on my posts. I go see them. I'm like, oh, let me see this person. Wow, they like 5 things of mine. Great, let me see them. And I'll go see. And then if I like their work, I'll do the same. And maybe I'll even post. And that's how those connections start to really happen. Most people don't do Instagram very well. I think they're really missing out on, really connecting with people. It's hard to find people who are really like understand that you're supposed to back and forth. Anyway, all right, that's okay. Anything else, Shazia? So yeah, anything you can do to put it out there, make it interesting, make it a little different, go for it. And
Okay.
chatty and yeah.
Okay.
All right, everybody. See you next time.
All right.
All right.
See
Thank you
ya.
so much.
Bye bye.
Bye. Mhm.